under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Prince,
Here.
Mr. Corman,
Here.
Mr. Pavoni,
Here.
Ms. Perez,
Here.
Mr. McIrvin,
Here.
Ms. Switchy,
Here.
Mr. Person.
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all present.
Thanks, Jason. First item on the agenda is a special proclamation.
Okay, proclamation, Doreen Battisti Day. Whereas Doreen Rutherford Battisti has been an integral part of the Renton community, including her childhood and teen years, and was valedictorian for the 1963 graduating class of Renton High School. And whereas Doreen had a distinguished career in library service and was the Children's and Teen Services Librarian for City of Renton Libraries from 1993 until 2007, sharing her love of books and reading with a generation of children through her famous story times and the special bond she had with the children and teens. And whereas she continued to positively influence young people in the areas of reading and learning as Teen Services Coordinator with King County Library System until she retired in June 2018. And whereas her devotion to youth advocacy extended to serving on the board of Seattle Children's Hospital for 15 years, plus serving on Renton Technical College Foundation Board for 12 years, 4 years as its chair. And whereas Doreen has been an active participant in Renton Rotary for 20 years and has the distinction of being the immediate past president. And whereas her continued commitment to service has inspired many to seek opportunities to give back to our Renton community whenever possible. Now therefore, I, Dennis Law, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim August 13, 2018 to be Doreen Battisti Day in the City of Renton, and I encourage all citizens to join in this special observance. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed this 13th day of August 2018. Signed, Dennis Law, Mayor of the City of Renton.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move the proclamation be adopted as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince and seconded by 6 other members of the City Council that the proclamation be adopted as read. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. It's an honor for me to present this to you, Doreen, this evening. You epitomize what's good about this community, and we just really appreciate all that you have done and all that you continue to do for us.
Needless to say, I am overwhelmed, humbled, and honored beyond belief. I have lived in this community for more than 70 years and have also 4 generations behind me who have loved this community. It's with a heavy heart that I leave it behind, but it is such a joy to look at all of you and thank you for your service to this community as well. I am deeply honored. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Doreen. Okay, next on the agenda is a public hearing. Mark Santos Johnson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council President Prince, members of the council. I'm Mark Santos Johnson. I'm the Economic Development Manager in the Community and Economic Development Department. And we're here tonight for the public hearing for the interim controls for the fee waivers and the property tax exemption. On June 25th, the council adopted the interim control prohibiting the acceptance of new applications for both fee waivers or the property tax exemptions for multifamily housing in residential targeted areas. State law requires that we have a public hearing within 60 days of adopting a moratorium, or in this case, our interim controls. And this public hearing meets the requirement and provides an opportunity for public comment. There are a number of reasons why the city moved forward with interim controls. The city has docketed a legislative review of the Renton Municipal Code, RMC 4-1-210, which is our waived fees, and also RMC 4-1-220, which is the property tax exemption, to look at a number of issues or potential changes in either or both of those programs. The region has also experienced a considerable shortage of affordable housing, and affordable housing is one of the things that we address as part of the multifamily housing incentives. We refer to these two programs together, the fee waiver and the multifamily housing property tax exemption, as multifamily housing incentives. They were set up to encourage owner-occupied and/or rental housing in eligible zones, in this case in the downtown or Sunset area, which are two of our high-priority redevelopment areas for the city. They also were used previously for the South Lake Washington area around the landing and the Southport area just for the property tax exemption. There has been significant actual and/or proposed residential development in both the downtown and the Sunset area, and this has increased significantly since these incentives were originally adopted, which is one of the reasons we want to revisit them at this point. The purpose for the interim controls are to allow the council, the planning commission, and the staff to review and advance potential amendments to the multifamily housing incentives without new applications coming in that might not be in the city's interest in terms of how we'd like to proceed with those two programs. And our next steps are that we're here tonight to receive comments. We will continue to work on the review of the housing incentives. We will develop and present a proposal to bring to the Planning Commission and the Council Planning and Development Committee. And there also will be opportunities for public comment through that process, and people can either check our website or sign up to provide their email to get information in the future.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. Any questions from council? Any correspondence? Jason?
No correspondence, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. This is a public hearing. We do have several people, several from Bellevue that have signed up to address the council, but also somebody from Renton, Howard McComber. When I call your name, please come to the podium, give your name and city of residence for the record, and you have 5 minutes. Howard.
I'm Howard McComber. I live in the Renton Highlands for more than 20 years. I had Jason pass out just a code that exists already that we are just putting aside for right now while we're re-examining everything. And I thought I'd have to use my cheaters for a second. Just want to read the first paragraph. It just said, the purpose for the fee waivers was to encourage owner-occupied housing in the CD, CV, R14, RMF zones that are also located within either the downtown or the Sunset area as represented in the official map. The most important reason, there's two areas here. One has to do with rental housing and the other has to do with owner-occupant housing. The first page, and I don't think he gave you two, has to do with owner-occupied housing. The reason owner-occupied housing is so important is because it gives people who have skin in the game, who have permanent roots in there, to be involved in the neighborhood. Now, the Sunset neighborhood's a neighborhood I know extremely well, and I think it would be very nice to have as much encouragement as we can for owner-occupied housing. There is no new owner-occupied housing that I'm aware of in the R14 zone between Northeast 12th, going north up till we run into Kennydale. So there's no new projects that I'm aware of for owner-occupied. Now, south of it, we are doing a fabulous job. The city is doing absolutely wonderful. We are redoing the Highlands Plaza up there. It's going to be out of this world. You guys will know more about it than I do, but I do know it's going to be fabulous. We're putting in a brand new library that I was at today, and it's wonderful. A new park, all the things that are there. So that's going on great, and there's some great housing that's going to happen there. But we're talking about the neighborhood north, from Northeast 12th on. And there's nobody providing owner-occupied housing right now. Nobody that I know is lining up because of the economics involved. Where it is, it needs incentive. And that's why they wrote this thing out in 2001. If you remember, we sunsetted it in December of 2015 with not yet having had any real takers on it, though we were working on it very diligently. Now we have some projects, a couple of projects that are lined up. And I understand the importance of having a moratorium so you can, without pressure, think about it and go over it. But when you're thinking about it, I want you to know that, number one, our situation hasn't changed. We still need incentives to produce owner-occupied housing in the area, so you have people with their roots in there. And as far as I know, there's nobody beating down the door but Howard on trying to develop owner-occupied housing in that area. So if I sound like I have a vested interest, I do. If I sound like I'm biased, I am. But I think that it has real merit, and I think it'll be worth it. So when the time comes, when you're deliberating, anybody wants to ask me, I'll tell you my party line, but I just want you to consider the importance of having owner-occupied housing in an area where you're trying to keep it stable. I won't go through the details on that. I love my Highlands, and I love the Sunset area, and I appreciate all you guys have done to elevate it. It's getting better and better. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Anita Wu.
Mayor Law and members of the City Council, my name is Anita Wu and I live in Bellevue. I own 2 lots side by side in the Sunset area. One lot faces Jefferson Avenue Northeast and the other faces Kirkland Avenue Northeast. They are just 2 lots. They are just 1 lot south of the Northeast 16th Street. My consultants and I have been working with the planning department and with Mr. Chip Vincent for more than 2 years on a townhouse project for those lots. During all the time, I have been relying on obtaining the fees waiver for many city fees. The fact is that originally I have planned on building units to rent out. I currently have many rental properties, including several in Renton. One of these rental property is the duplex located on the lot on the south side of the townhome lots on Jefferson Avenue Northeast. However, when I found out that about the fee waivers program and the replacement and the requirement to have all homes for sale, I realized that this program was very good and it would be financially advantageous to sell all of the townhomes that I would be building. So I was very surprised and not happy when I found out that the fee waiver program for my project was in danger of being eliminated. If this happened, then I will have to reassess whether I would just rent out the new homes. I certainly do hope that you will keep the fee waiver program in effect for projects such as mine, which will provide new ownership home in the Sunset area. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Craig Kepler.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. I represent the interests of Renton Village, and I wanted to provide our input on the legislative reviews that the city is considering at this point in time. We would support a waiver of fees in limited instances, one of which would be multifamily rental projects that include 20% affordable units at 80% of the area median income, and then possibly a higher fee waiver rate for rental projects that have greater than 20% of their units allocated to affordable housing. We would not support, however, any fee waiver for multifamily projects that are in a current targeted area. To me, that's just bad business. Developers are already getting the advantage of a significant tax savings over an extended period of time, and offering them additional fee waivers for mitigation cost and impact fees just doesn't seem like good business. So secondly, on the moratorium of the applications, we do not support this moratorium at all. We believe that the city has a solid understanding of the multifamily tax exemption program, and the fact that it is not only revenue neutral to the city, that it's actually revenue positive to the city. New residents are coming into projects, and there is no loss of tax revenue to the city. That's what I have to say.
Thank you very much. Next is, I think, Jim Houghton.
I will stand close to the microphone because my voice is practically gone. I had some work done on my vocal cords, and my voice was supposed to be back a month ago, and it's not yet. I'm Jim Houghton. I live in Bellevue, Washington. The two projects that Howard referred to, I am the project manager for both of those projects. I've been working on one for more than 3 years and the one for Anita Wu for more than 2 years. We were always moving forward based on the fact that those fee waivers would help. Both of those project owners are taking a bit of a risk in that area. You know as well as I do, the whole area is surrounded with the 1942, 1943 duplexes, most of them rentals, almost all of them rentals. All the ones around us, our projects are rentals. In my experience, I've been a real estate developer for 44 years here in Western Washington, and there is just absolutely no question, and I've done a couple of other projects up in that area, done some short plats, and duplexes were built on those. Beautiful duplexes. They were sold. They become owner-occupied, which is a huge difference. You could almost drive down the street, up in that area and know which units are owner-occupied and which ones are rentals. There's just a difference in the way they take care of those units. So I encourage you at least to make exceptions in this moratorium for units that have been ongoing. Anita's project, we're almost ready to submit that. Within a couple of weeks, we'll be submitting that. The other project, we submitted that and already had the public hearing on that. And in that submittal, I requested the fee waivers. I know it has to go before this body to be approved, but I already submitted all of the requests for that and showed a full page of every part of the code, how the project is in compliance with it. And this one will be within compliance of that total code also. So thank you, and I hope that we can continue to move forward. I'd rather have Anita's project submitted rather than wait until December to see if it's going to be submitted, or have her make the decision to go ahead and rent those units out. When she said she had planned on renting those, there's no question about that. She told me when we started that they were going to be rental units. But we convinced her that, of course, it would make a lot of sense because of those fee waivers are not minor. As you know, they're significant, and they help tremendously and help particularly overcome the risk of building them up in that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Timothy Wu.
Good evening, Mayor Law and the members of the City Council. My name is Timothy Wu. I live in Bellevue. I'm the son of Anita Wu, who just spoke. So I don't have a whole lot to add here. I just want to say that we have been in the rental business in Renton, at least going back 7 years at least. We've always been doing rentals, just doing slow light remodeling, getting people in, just trying to make our money back and pay the mortgage. So when we got these two new properties off Jefferson and Kirkland, we're all around Sunset Boulevard area. The fee waivers, knowing about the fee waivers kind of made it obvious that we should, redevelop it and build new units and offer to put on the market for other people to come in. It made sense to kind of revitalize the area or help revitalize the area and bring new people in. And it took very little convincing for us to not make a rental and just move forward with the project. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you. Is there anybody else that wanted to testify for this public hearing on this topic? What's the wish of the council?
Mr. Mayor, move we
Yes.
close the public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. McGurven, second by Ms. Witchy, that the public hearing be closed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, thank you, Mark. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is an appeal. Mr. McGurven.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. It is my understanding that the parties in this appeal have reached a tentative settlement agreement, so rather than delivering a committee report on this one, I would like to make the following motion that the council postpone its final action on the Wilson Park 1 hearing examiner decision until its next council meeting on August 20th, 2018, subject to the following conditions. The Wilsons have until Friday, August 17th, 2018, to commit in writing to city staff that Wilson Park 1 will be built to all city laws, regulations, standards, and specifications in effect as of August 17th, 2018. In other words, Wilson Park 1 will lose its vested status. However, city staff would allow the application to proceed without need to reapply for preliminary plat approval and without the need to pay for preliminary plat application fees. In exchange, City Council takes the preliminary action tonight to modify the hearing examiner decision to extend that plat expiration date for Wilson Park 1 from August 16th to August 23rd of 2018. If the Wilsons commit to the above term for Wilson Park 1 and meet the current laws, regulations, standards, and specifications, then city staff will recommend City Council to extend, I believe they will, to the expiration to July 5th of 2019 was what the settlement terms so far are. The City Council will hold open the appeal hearing for Wilson Park 1 to retain jurisdiction and then make a final decision as to the hearing and examiner decision.
Second.
Okay.
That was all one motion, right?
Mr. Corman, could you repeat the?
If he can hand me his piece of paper, yes.
It's been moved by Mr. by Mr. McGurven, seconded by Mr. Corman, that the appeal be postponed to the next city council meeting. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, moving on to administrative report, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two items this evening. The second annual Cruise the Loop event will take place Saturday, August 18th from 5 to 9 p.m. It will be an evening of live music, food, classic cars, and the vintage cruise around the Renton Loop. Pre-registration is required, however, as spots are limited. For more information, please visit the city website. Additionally, Renton CERT classes are taught by local subject matter experts, including firefighters, police officers, chaplains, emergency managers, and medical professionals. In these classes, you can learn to extinguish fires, conduct search and rescue, provide basic first aid, identify and respond to terrorism, assist professional responders, reduce survivor stress, and prepare yourself for your community for emergencies. Summer classes will take place August 23rd through August 25th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can register online with code number 61514 or call 425-430-6700. That's all this evening.
Okay, thank you. We have nobody signed up for audience comments, so moving on to the consent agenda, we have 3 items for council consideration. Are there any items a council member would like pulled for discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move that we concur in the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman, that council concur with the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to unfinished business, Mr. Prince.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Corman.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Pavoni.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Public Safety Committee has one committee report to be read.
Hey, Public Safety Committee report. Repeal and replace Chapter 6-3 of the Renton Municipal Code, amending alarm system regulations. The Public Safety Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to repeal and replace Renton Municipal Code 6-3 with language and processes that support modern false alarm reduction programs. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Pavoni.
So this committee report has to do with false alarms. The Renton Police Department, the number one call is for false alarms. and it's up to 96% of them are false. The calls for alarms are false. So this is a program that the police department is putting in with another company to help mitigate that and get the police officers out there doing the work that they need to be done. So with that, I move that the council concur with the committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Pavoni, seconded by Mr. Person, that council concur with the Public Safety Committee report. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, Ms. Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. McIrvin.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Witchy.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Utilities Committee has 3 committee reports.
Okay, Utilities Committee report, change order number 1 to the contract with Laser Underground and Earthworks for the Renton Hill Utility Replacement Project. The Utilities Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to execute change order number 1 to CAG 17174 with Laser Underground and Earthworks Incorporated in the amount of $302,406.79 for the rebuilding of Cedar Avenue South. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Witchy.
I move that council concur with the recommendation of the Utilities Committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Witchy, seconded by Mr. Corman, that council concur with the Utilities Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the next Utilities Committee report is regarding the Falcon Ridge Lift Station Replacement Bid Award. The Utilities Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve the award of the Falcon Ridge Lift Station Replacement and Force Main Improvement Project to Road Construction Northwest Incorporated with a bid of $926,502.50. The Utilities Committee further recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation of a budget transfer of $250,000 from Thunder Hill Interceptor Rehabilitation Project to Falcon Ridge Lift Station Replacement and Force Main Improvements project as part of the next budget adjustment. The proposed $1.25 million budget for the Falcon Ridge Lift Station Replacement and Force Main Improvements project will be sufficient to cover the bid amount plus an approximate 20% contingency, the engineering contract, and staff time. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Witchy.
I move that council concur with the recommendation of the Utilities Committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Witchy, seconded by Mr. McIrvin, that council concur with the Utilities Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
All right, the final Utilities Committee report is regarding the agreement for the Downtown Utility Improvement Project Phase 2 Preliminary Engineering and Design. The Utilities Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to execute the agreement with Murray Smith Incorporated in the amount of $683,735 for Phase 2 of the Downtown Utility Improvement Project. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Witchy.
I move that council concur with the recommendation of the Utilities Committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Witchy, seconded by Mr. Corman, that council concur with the Utilities Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
That is all.
Thank you. Mr. Person.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Finance Committee tied with the Utility Committee.
You
today.
did.
Wow.
All right, Finance Committee report, approval of claims and payroll vouchers. The Finance Committee approves the following payments. Accounts payable, total payment of $12,193,110.73 for vouchers 10081 through 10084, 72518 through, and 72718, 7012018, and 366581 through 366584, 366596 through 366929, 36694 through 367,341. Payroll benefit withholding vouchers 5845 through 5864, 70218, 70918, 366585 through 366595, 366930 through 366942, and 17 wire transfers. And payroll total payments of $3,017,559.20 for payroll vouchers, which includes 1,575 direct deposits and 79 checks. This is for the June 15th through 30th and the July 1st through 15th, 2018 pay periods. And Kidder Matthews, a total payment of $25,842.40 for vouchers 5671 through 5684. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
We did spend more money than the utility committee.
Yeah, that's right, you did.
With that, I move the council adopt the finance committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the next report is regarding the Consortium Fiber Project Agreement Number 73. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve the Consortium Fiber Project Agreement to conduct a feasibility study to utilize the East Side Rail Corridor as a fiber optic infrastructure corridor. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the council concur in the recommendation of the finance committee.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the final Finance Committee report is regarding Microsoft Enterprise licenses. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to authorize and sign the OnPoint Technology purchase order in the amount of $157,730.17 for the renewal of Microsoft Enterprise licenses, which is a true-up under an existing volume license agreement. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the council concur in the recommendation of the finance committee.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, moving on to legislation, we have one resolution and one ordinance.
Okay, the resolution is regarding the consortium agreement, just approved. A resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an interlocal agreement with the City of Bellevue, City of Kirkland, City of Redmond, King County, Bellevue School District 405, Lake Washington School District, and Renton School District entitled Consortium Project Agreement 73 regarding the East Side Rail Corridor Fiber Optic Feasibility Study, with such study being a project of the Community Connectivity Consortium, which was previously formed by interlocal agreement.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the council adopt the resolution as adopted, as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Ms. Perez, that council adopt the resolution as read. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the ordinance is for first reading. It's regarding the alarm system regulations that were previously approved. An ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, repealing and replacing Chapter 6.3 of the Renton Municipal Code, amending alarm system regulations and providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Pavoni.
I move the ordinance be put on second and final reading at the next council meeting.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Pavoni, second by Mr. Person, that this ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Jason. Moving on to new business, Mr. Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, on Monday, August 20th, 2018, the committee of the whole will be meeting in council chambers. We have two items on the agenda. The King County Metro's Sewer Interceptor Rehabilitation Project and regional issues. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to announce that also on Monday, August 20th, at 4:00 p.m., we have a Transportation Committee meeting, and that meeting will take place in the council conference room. There are 4 items on that agenda. The first is temporary total closure of East Valley Road and Southwest 19th Street intersection. Second item is temporary total closure of Southwest 19th Street. The third item is 2019 to 2024 6-year transportation improvement program. And the fourth item is emerging issues in transportation, including the Wells and Williams conversion update. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pavoni.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I do not have any committee meetings to announce, but I do have one topic I'd like to discuss. So as the council knows, a few years back, we, the residents, voted to form the RFA, which is the fire department and the governing body of the fire department. And through the last couple of years, we've had local agreements, interlocal agreements with the city to manage different parts of the fire department. We're in the process of I need to point out for the residents that there's 3 council members that also sit on the fire authority. So the fire authority is in the process of moving out and being on its own. And today we heard kind of the plan from the fire department side on how that was going to take place, the fact that there are 3 separate agreements that are going to sunlight at some point here in the next year and a half. So I'd like to make a motion for the benefit of the rest of the council, especially going into this budget season, that we have a committee of the whole meeting where the city can present kind of from the city side what that's going to look like, how it's going to affect us, and kind of the steps that we're going to go through to complete that. So,
Second?
okay.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Pavoni, seconded by Mr. Corman, that the topic of how the Regional Fire Authority will be moving some of its services out to its, I guess, away from the city,
Taking over its own service.
taking
yeah.
over its own service, to refer that to Committee of the Whole. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. So if you could just let Bob know when you'd like to get that scheduled, and we'll get that on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Monday, August 20th, at 5:30, we will have a Community Service Committee meeting in the Council Conference Room. There are 2 items in the agenda: park maintenance responsibility of homeless camps, removal and requirements, and emerging issues in community service. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McIrvin.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Witchy.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and Mr. Person.
No new business.
Okay, what's the wish of the council?
Move
Move
we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, seconded by Mr. Person, that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
Half the council made